the difference between personal credit and business credit. So are you thinking about starting a business and you're confused about whether you should leverage your personal credit or your business credit? Well, in this video, we're going to discuss that very thing. In this episode, we're going to discuss the basics of business credit versus personal credit. Next, we'll discuss common traps that business owners fall into when they're trying to get business funding. Then, I'll wrap up with some funding ideas for your business using personal credit, using business credit, and also using a hybrid of both. So the first thing I wanted to talk about was going to be the difference between personal credit and business credit. Now, this is a very big topic, right? So it would take me a very long time to go through all the little differences between personal and business credit, but that's not really what this video is about. Really, I wanted to discuss the main differences. The main difference between personal credit and business credit is that you can qualify for funding and business credit using just your EIN only. As business owners, we want to try to avoid using our personal credit or our personal guarantee as much as possible. Now, is that possible in every single circumstance? It's not possible in every single circumstance, but we try to avoid using the personal guarantee as much as possible. Okay, now with personal credit, it's highly regulated. There's a lot of different metrics that go into a personal credit score. We've got the 3 personal credit bureaus, Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax, and that's what houses most of our personal data. Again, heavily regulated. The scoring algorithm on the personal credit side of things has multiple different facets and metrics and buckets to pull out a score. Now, on the personal credit side of things, you're almost guaranteed that if you apply for something on the personal side, that it's going to report across all 3 bureaus. Now, sometimes it only reports across 1 bureau or maybe 2 bureaus, but for the most part, when you apply for something on the personal credit side of things, you know it's going to post to your credit in some fashion, a vast majority of the time. On the business credit side of things, it works just the opposite. A vast majority of business credit offers and business creditors do not report to the business credit bureaus. That's going to be Duns and Bradstreet, Equifax, and Experian. That means that in all likelihood, if you're trying to build out your business credit, the odds are stacked against you that it's going to ever even hit your business credit. And I can tell you from my own personal experience that I've had that happen to me. So here I thought that I was building out my business credit, and the reality is that I had no credit score. Now, as far as the credit score is concerned on the business side of things, unlike the personal credit side of things, there's really only one metric that they're looking at. They're looking at, do you pay your business bills on time? That's it. That's all they're looking at. Do you pay on time? Do you pay before it's due? If so, you're going to score between 80 and 100 on the Paydex score on Duns & Bradstreet, and that's going to be in the highest category of scoring on the business side. Now, as you know, on the personal side, if you've got credit cards and you've got all kinds of different credit offers and you max all those things out, you're going to get heavily penalized on the personal side. Your credit score is going to take a big nosedive. Now, on the business side of things, it's exactly the opposite of that. They don't care if you're utilizing the credit that they give you. They fully expect, as a business owner, that you're going to, in fact, use that credit, and they want you to use that credit. The main thing between your personal and your business credit is you're trying to establish separation. You're trying to establish that your business is indeed its own entity because most likely you've set it up as an LLC. The primary reason is that if something happens with your business, you want to have the opportunity to get out of that situation without creditors having the ability to go after your personal assets. And that would be your home potentially, your vehicles, and anything else that you have in terms of assets on your personal side. So having that separation is going to be wildly important. So when I started my first business, I fell into one of the many traps that business owners fall into, and that is overutilizing my personal credit so that I can float my business. Now, that's a big problem on the personal credit side of things because your personal credit was never designed to float a business. So if you max out all of your personal credit cards in an attempt to float your business, you're going to destroy your personal credit in the process. Not only are you going to destroy your personal credit in the process, if things get worse and you need more funding, the odds of you being able to get more funding when your credit cards are already maxed out on the personal side using a personal guarantee is highly limited. I can't tell you how many of my clients come to me on the personal credit side of things. They're entrepreneurs, they have an amazing business, plenty of cash flow, have been successful for years, and all of a sudden something like last year happens where the economy takes a massive nosedive, sales come to a stop for them, and now they're trying to bridge the gap with funding. So they max out their personal situation, and now they come to me and they're like, I'm completely maxed out on my personal side. I'm not making my payments because the expenses are too much. I don't have the money to cover that. And what I recommend to them is to get business credit and business funding at that point. Now, they're already in the throes of a lot of financial turmoil, so it's very difficult for them to do what's necessary to build out their business credit to get business funding in their EIN only. Very, very difficult at that point because it does take time. You know, on average, it's going to take you 3 to 6 months to start building out your business credit, and it's going to take even longer than that to fully build it out. You're looking at, closer to 9 months, and in some cases even a year, depending upon how busy the person is. So it does take time, and it doesn't work in crisis. You need to get way ahead of situations like that. So typically what I tell business owners at that point is, hey, we've got to get your business credit established so that this doesn't ever happen again, to where you completely wipe out your personal situation trying to float your business. Many people think they can build out their business credit instantaneously, and the reality is that it takes a long time, and navigating the waters of business credit is complicated. It takes a person, if they're doing it on their own, it could take them 5 or 10 years to build out their business credit. Why is that? Because there's a lot that goes into the business credit. Unlike the personal credit where you can just go out and apply for something and you're either denied or approved, on the business side of things, it's much more complicated than that. You're going to have to be set up correctly. You're going to have all of your metrics correct so that when you go to start applying for business credit, they don't deny you automatically. Realize that a vast majority of LLCs that actually start up their company and have their articles of formation, only a very small percentage of those are going to see sales. And only a much smaller percentage of those over the next 5 years are going to see success. In other words, a lot of them are going to go out of business even when they do experience some sales. So business creditors fully understand that this is a phenomenon that they're dealing with, so they're looking for any little reason to deny you. And it can be something as simple as you have your home address instead of an actual address. It can be that you don't have a business phone line, that you're using your personal credit instead of a business phone line. There are so many different areas that need to be intact before you can even begin building your business credit. Please do me a favor, go ahead and like and subscribe to my channel. As you know, the YouTube algorithm does require that you like and subscribe to my channel. We're trying to grow out my channel. It's a newer channel, and I'd really appreciate if you would help me. Okay, the last thing that I want to talk about is I want to talk about the type of funding that you can get on the business side of things in your EIN. First of all, there's a lot of different opportunities, but we've got to kind of think out of the box. A lot of people, the first thing they want is going to be that line of credit. Everybody wants that line of credit for their business. Give me $500,000 so that I can grow my business, right? Well, that's going to be a hard sell to any creditor, no matter what your personal or business credit looks like. The reality is that as small business owners, we have to think outside the box. So what I really like on the business credit side of things is I do like business credit cards. Now, of course, you have to build out your business credit. You have to start with your vendor accounts and move all the way up to start getting high limit credit cards that allow you to pull cash off of them. But what I always tell people is, what's the difference between getting a $100,000 line of credit or getting a credit card that has a $100,000 limit with 12 months of 0% interest? There's nothing different. What I try to tell clients is, hey, let's get this built out. Let's get many, many credit cards so you have tons of funding that's just sitting there waiting for you whenever you need it. Other types of credit cards that are going to be just on the business side of things are going to be based on either cash flow, collateral, or as we just talked about, credit. You can receive funding based on cash flow. If you've got consistent amounts of money coming into your bank account on the business side of things, and you can show statements that show that that money is coming in consistently, you can actually get funding based on that. You can also get funding based on collateral. Now, collateral is going to be anything that holds value. It can be your commercial real estate property. It can be your inventory. It can be inventory that's waiting to be sold but hasn't been sold yet. It can be vehicles. There can be so many different types of collateral that you can get business funding from. Now, on the personal credit side of things, there are opportunities to get funding. In some cases, you will need a personal guarantee for certain types of credit offers on the business side. Now, when it comes to deciding whether you're going to do that or not, that's completely up to each business owner. For me, myself, I try to do most everything in my EIN, but if I don't have that opportunity, and let's say it's a credit card that I really want, and they require a personal guarantee, well, then sometimes I'll go ahead and do that.